Hi, it's Andrea the Book Lady, also known as the Astro Tracker. And I have been talking about 5 mistakes that people make about astrology. Really, it's 5 misunderstandings or uh, myths, uh, because people are not getting the true information about what astrology is. So today, I'm going to talk about how astrology is a science. In fact, it's also called by one of the greatest who ever existed in the field of astronomy, Kepler, as celestial physics. Astrology is celestial physics. And what I did was I got out my little astronomy book and I went to the first pages where it talked about astronomers, the famous astronomers. I wrote all their names down, and I'm going to tell you, guess what? A lot of what we know about the Earth, well, a lot of what we know, what began our study of the planets and the Earth and the sun and how things work, like how the moon moves, how the earth moves around the sun, came from, guess who? Astrologers. Astrologers were the first scientists and mathematicians, basically mathematicians and scientists. They were figuring everything out. So the first person listed in the book was Pythagoras. Pythagoras was not, he's the only one who was not an astrologer per se. But what he did do was he looked at the mathematical cycles he of the planets. And at that time, they thought that everything, including the sun, was going around the earth. He did believe in something called the music of the spheres, which I'll bring up later. Um, that there actually is music and there's a certain pattern to the way things work. He called it the music of the spheres. The next person is who is Eudoxus, who he was in Greece and he let's see, he believed the planets caused events on the earth. So generally physical events. So weather patterns, wars, things like that. So he was studying that. Remember, these guys were first mathematicians. And what, as I said, this came from my astronomy book. So astronomers, but they're also astrologers. Aristotle was one of the first Greeks who was involved in sharing information about relating what went on in the heavens to what on to man on earth. So he was one of the first of the Greeks to be involved in astrology. Eratosthenes, no, I have to say it right, Eratosthenes. Okay, he cataloged what was going on in the heavens. So, by the way, these guys, they looked at what was going on in the heavens. He cataloged the movements of the planets and the events that happened on Earth as a result. So well, at what he thought was as a result. So he's actually one of the people who cataloged it, which is what astrology is about, guys. It's about, the correlation between what's going on in the heavens and what's going on here on Earth. Not that they cause it, but just that there is a correlation. So that was Eratosthenes. Okay, Hipparchus. He's pretty well known. He definitely believed in astrology, and he also is the one who connected astrology to medical practice. That was his interest. So remember, these guys were astronomers, mathematicians, and scientists who were also at that time known as astrologers. Astronomy and astrology were essentially, they were like this. So Hipparchus, and he is also known in the medical fields, but he considered the heavens to be affecting our health. So he's written a lot of things on that. Celestial bodies as related to health. Ptolemy, very well known, again, an astrologer. a mathematician, astronomer, geographer who also practiced astrology. Copernicus. Copernicus is the guy who said the Earth and the planets revolve around the sun. Was that accepted then? No. But just think about this, guys, and we were taught this in school. How how screwed up could it be that all these leaders and people and the church and all these people could go against this guy who's a scientist? These guys are scientists, and they were astrologers, and they were mathematicians, and they were early physicists to some degree. Anyway, they're the ones who measured all this stuff to start with. We wouldn't even know what the heck was going on without the astrologers, the early astrologers. Anyway, Copernicus is the one that put out their heliocentric movement of the planets. Tycho Brahe, also deeply practiced astrology and the linking of celestial movements to what happens to us. He's also very well known. Copernicus, Tycho, Kepler, one of the most famous names in astronomy and astrology. Okay, he actually collected the precise data that enabled Kepler. I'm sorry, Tycho was the one who collected the precise data that enabled Kepler to establish the laws of planetary motion. You hear this, guys? The astrologers were the scientists. Wow, amazing. Okay, Kepler was the most famous one. He also believed in harmony of the spheres. So if you go back to Pythagoras, Kepler was also believed in what Pythagoras had originally been working on about harmony of the spheres. No distinction at all between astronomy and astrology, guys. No distinction back then. Then Galileo. Almost everybody knows Galileo. He got punished, was in by the Spanish Inquisition, and later on the church in 1992, since he had been punished and had been, you know, I don't know, I think he went to jail. The church apologized to him in 1992. It's a little late, a little date. I guess I need to look at his birthday and see how that related. I need to do that. Look at his birthday. I'll do that the next time. See how Galileo's birth date and birth death, and when he got condemned by the Spanish Inquisition, how that was related in planets. I also want to show you this. I'm going to show you this. This is what astrology looks like. And I'm going to move it. Oops. I can move this by the day. Okay, do you guys see this? This is math. This is geometry. These are all the planets as they are configured in the heavens at the moment. This is a kind of standardized situation. Now I can go by the week. Now I can go by the month. Now I can go by the year. I can go forward and backward. I can go far as forward as I want. I can go backward as far as I want. And look at this beautiful picture here. Isn't this beautiful? This is, by the way, this would be considered a good configuration. Well, I don't say it's necessarily good. It could be something easy for it to happen. But anyway, this is math. This is geometry. This is physics, guys. By the way, geometry was my poorest class in high school, mainly because of the teacher. I didn't like the teacher. But now I use it more than anything. And by the way, this isn't even everything that would be on this normally. I just want to make it so that it's somewhat visible for you what's going on here. So by the way, this is the year 2030. We're having this nice little picture here. Anyway, just wanted to show you. Astrology is science. It is the original science. It is the original math. It is, so I really don't care whether you believe in it or not. Because, do you believe in magnetism? The fact, do you believe in gravity? Do you believe in electricity? I don't even care because Astrology was the first official science. It was related to us on Earth and the other planets and celestial bodies in the heavens, like the moon, the sun, and everything else. So you can say that it's not, but too bad, so sad. Even this book says that it is. You can contact me at astrotracker.com, email booklady at astrotracker.com. If you want to heckle me, it's okay. I like hecklers. Bye.